Let me share my screen. Okay. Okay. Let me close unnecessary windows so that we don't have distractions. Okay. So yeah, let's get into the topic now. So yesterday we were talking about what is that thing? Creating users and attaching policies and testing that policies. All that we had discussed in yesterday's class. So we have to continue with the same. Okay. So let's do that now. So what we have to do is okay. Let me share my screen. So this one, we have understood these things. In the process, we understood many things about this users and policies and groups and all that stuff. Okay. So group thing, anyhow, we do it today. That won't be a problem. We'll see how to create groups and attach users, also policies, all that today. Okay. So apart from that, there are few questions and answers as today we had discussed. And one of the question is about restricting the access of buckets. So this is the question from Harsha, I believe. Right, Harsha? So then, yeah.
Yes.
So yes, we had discussed this, and the simple answer we got it is yes, we can do. So that is possible, but how we have to discuss that, right, Harsha? So okay, that I'll show you
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Okay, I did a bit of R&D on that so that you get an idea. So, but one straight answer is you can hide objects from visible, right? If any objects are there inside bucket, you can hide that. But uh, bucket wise, you cannot hide buckets. That's what. So AWS don't have such kind of uh, option. But one thing is there, you can restrict the access. Suppose you might see the buckets, but whichever bucket you want to provide access, you can provide access to that, and you can deny access for other buckets. I'll show you that all that today now. So how do you control access to buckets? So that's another interesting thing. In a way, we are going little deeper into AWS. If you are going into such kind of discussion, it's a bit a deep discussion. It's not just the basic understanding of AWS. I'm very sure on that. Okay, so that is where we are. The topic which we are going to discuss is the continuation to yesterday. That we have created multiple. You know, right? We have created users. We have created buckets. Okay, so now we are also going to see how to restrict the access of buckets. Okay, so let's do that now. So for that, what we have to do? So simple, right? So we have to again. There are different ways of doing this. One, you can create inline policy and attach it, and then you can do that. That is one way. Second way, you can provide restrictions through JSON policies. I'll show you that as well. So I'm continuing with another very useful and a real-time topic about restricting the access of a bucket to an user. That is the topic we are discussing. Is that clear for everyone, friends? First, you should get an idea, right? Okay, let me just show you first. Okay, I'll make it very clear for all of you. Okay, today what I'm doing is just to save some time, So yesterday, you told, right, to have two windows. So let's have two windows today. So for creating this, I have root window here. This is the root, definitely, I'm very sure. Okay. And then generally we connect it to always better connected to any four of these. That's the best thing. Okay. So for any four of these locations, say Virginia, Ohio, California, or Oregon, but it's okay. If you connect it to any other locations, it's fine. Just for benefit of speed and everything, better choose this first for. Okay. So that is fine. Yeah, I mean the root itself, right? Yeah. So this is the root stuff. Okay. Now after that, okay, let it be there. If you go and see here S3. So these are all the buckets. Suppose I'll just show you, because if you just want to quickly understand how to search for that, type S3 and click on S3. Under S3, you see all the available buckets. You can see here there are 3 buckets we have. You might have more than that. You might have 50 buckets or 100 buckets if you are working in real time based on the project and number of projects and number of teams. This is decided. But this is no less than the working this thing, because we are in a real time cluster for sure. Got it right? A real time environment. Only thing is we create buckets for learning purpose. In real time, we create for team purpose and project purpose. That is the difference. Fine. Now, these are the buckets. Now, if I just try this, if I click on this, I can access this bucket, my Nomi bucket, user bucket 1. Similarly, sorry friends, if I click on this, even I can access my reports bucket 2025. Similarly, if I click on this, I don't think any file is there in this. We don't have any files. Maybe we need to attach files. That's not a big problem. So, but still I have access to this bucket, right? And yesterday, the question is, how do we restrict these buckets? Okay, so now that is where we are going to work on it now. So suppose let's check here IAM. Okay, so that is the topic we are dealing right now. Okay, so what is that you have to do? So you can see here, restricting access of a bucket. So what you have to do, simple, go to IAM. You want to restrict access to some user, right? Click on the users. Generally, if you want to see users, roles or policies or groups, you can directly view it from the IAM service. So I'm choosing Nomi user 1. I already did something to this. I can remove that. That's not a big deal. Click on Nomi user 1. And then I created this. Maybe we can do one thing for again, for learning purpose, I am removing this policy. Whatever I have created, custom policy to control access to buckets. This guy is Nomi user. For now, he just have only one role, one policy attached, that is password change policy. Okay. Now what I am going to do, I am going to create another policy and attach to this Nomi user 1, to control the access to buckets. Here, Nomi user 1 should have access only to a specific bucket. Okay, I am choosing that bucket name as my reports bucket 2025. You got it right. Anyhow, CLI thing I'll discuss today. So this anyhow, if you ask me what is all this in this command prompt, connecting to AWS from CLS, and also how to run commands on S3 buckets. That is the other thing. But we'll see that after this. We are going to cover that as well. But now, of course, there are 3 buckets in this thing available. We can play on any of these buckets. Once you know how to play with one bucket, it is same. We can apply for all buckets as well. Okay. So now this is the bucket where I am trying to provide access, and remaining buckets, I should stop providing access. I should restrict access for other buckets. Is this clear? Right? Does my statements makes clear for all of you friends? Okay. Now let's do this. Let's create it. So now what do you do to create anything? It's very simple. Come here. See, and generally, if you want to, in these kind of scenarios, creating custom inline policies is always best option. Inline in sense, something more specific to that user. Policy, something specific to the user. You got it right. And these are also called custom policies. Custom means There are policies already available in AWS like this. Change password, or we have seen yesterday also. S3 read only or EC2. We are going to see much more in the upcoming sessions. But the question is, and we have also seen, suppose if you say add permissions, attach policies, you can see these are all different policies available, and these are built-in policies. What kind of policies are these? These are all built-in policies. Apart from this, and even though we have these many policies available, not all the time these are helpful for us. Okay, there are times where you have to create your own policies. Custom policies is what we call, and that can be created right as an inline policy, or otherwise you can attach a policy and make it change that policy as well. So what is custom policy? Simply speaking, create your own policy, right? That's what we call custom policy. Inline instance, creating a policy for a specific user and attaching that policy to that user. Now to do this, to restrict the access of bucket to NOMI user one, what I'm doing, I'm creating inline policy, create. So, and how do I create that? Right, go to add permissions, create inline policy, and then there are two ways. You can directly, if you know JSON and if you know what to change here, you can directly choose JSON and then add that thing here, and then just you can go down and say next, and then you have to follow the subsequent steps. Are you following, friends? Okay. Or else these days, right, we are definitely dependent on AI tools. This is an era of AI, right? So what do? We try to provide prompt for kind of this one. What is that policy? And that AI tool like Copilot or ChatGPT or whatever it is, they provide this policy, right? And once it provides policy, what is the next thing? You have to test that policy here. You copy and paste that policy direct to JSON one like this. I just put it here for your reference. That's all. Okay. So this is the policy. Okay. Which I created. Okay. So now, of course, I just had a scrapping of it. So, I mean, I took a from snipping tool. So I cannot copy, but we can type this. But generally make it, if you want it, you can keep it as something which we can copy, okay? More than as a screenshot, that would be helpful. But for me to show you, I just took this. You can copy this and paste it here, where paste it under inline policy. You just copy and remove this. You can Control A and you can say Control V. And then what is that? You can just follow the subsequent steps, means further steps. Clear, no? So I can make it simple for you. There is other way. Directly doing changes on JSON files and then moving forward. That is one strategy. Second strategy, you can also restrict the access in this window-based navigation. And for that, you have to click on visual. You can come here, choose the service. Which service you want to restrict access? S3, right? All of you are clear with that. So choose S3. Now you can see there are different options, right? So now come here, list this. There are different, so there are few things as per steps. What is that? So you should see here, these are different list of actions available here. Now what I'm going to do for this user, who is that user? NOMI user. You can see I am creating a policy under NOMI user, which is an inline policy. So you can see all list of options available under list here. Okay, so here, what is that I should choose here? Simple, friends. So you can choose. So one is a list bucket. Okay, so yeah, you have to choose a list bucket. That is one thing. Next one is so go to the read. So under this, Get bucket, not this. So yeah, get object. So you have to just choose these two, friends. So to restrict access, you have to choose list bucket and then get object. Which object you should get and which bucket you should get. This is how you can choose you can restrict the access. Okay, but still it's not yet over. We have to add something here. So you have mentioned what is that? What buckets? Simply speaking, what did we do now? We did two actions. What are those two actions here? You can see here. One is so under the selected actions, we are asking to list bucket. So when you say list bucket, what all buckets you want to have access, that you can choose from here. Second option is what objects, which all files you want to have access, right? So that we can add here. When you say get object means what files you want to have access, right? I means what all files in that bucket are there, for which files you want to have access, we can choose that here. So these are the two options you have to pick here, or you have to choose here. Is that clear? Did I make it clear or did I confuse you anywhere? Can I get an S from all of you friends? So what is that here? You can see here. I'll just show you here in the window so that it's easy for you to follow. So where is that guy? Okay, let's see here now. So now what is that? You can see here, I came to that users and then I removed all access. You can see that next after that, I have to go to that IAM policies, create policy. Yes, I am there. This makes you more clarity. This gives you a better understanding. Okay. That's what, right? Where I am under create policy. You can see that. Okay. So now, so I am at create policy and then choose service. You are very, you should get that clarity now. I choose which service? S3 service. You can see here, right? I'm just only trying to recap so that if you have any confusion, just to remove that confusion, I'm just quickly recapping it. And then once I choose S3, what did I do? I have choose actions. What are those actions? Under access level, we have see. Under list, we choose list bucket. Under read, we choose get object. Of course, you can do different, I mean, you can tick different options or you can tick different actions. You got it right? They based on your kind of requirement, right? Scenario otherwise. Based on scenario, you can choose which one to list, which one to read, which one to do anything. That is okay. You can play around all those things. It's up to you. I'm showing you for one scenario for the question which was asked yesterday. Is this clear now? So that's what we did here, right? That's what we did here. We have gone to that list. There are 16 options available under list. Suppose if these are not available, you have to go for customized options. Got it, right? Customized options. Okay. Then read here. You can see a read get object. Then after that, what is that you have to do is expand these resources. This is another thing, important thing. And you can see here under resources, you just choose what is that list bucket and then list get object, what bucket should be accessible, what object should be accessible, that you specified here. And then under that specific, you can see resources. Should we have access to all resources or a specific resource? This is what these two options are. Now, as per Harsha, the question is, how do I restrict access to the buckets? Means we have to choose specific buckets. Means we are applying a filter condition here. If it is programming, right, you have 10 possible buckets. You are just applying a condition. That's all, simply speaking. And then what is that you have to do? We have to choose last two options. You can see here, specific bucket, specific object. Yes or no? Will you agree with me or not? What is the requirement? Requirement is I should provide access on specific bucket and specific object. Will you agree, friends? So for that, you have to add something called ARNS. Okay. So now just click on this and then you have to choose. When I say ARNS here, you can see here. You have to provide that bucket name here. Now you should get some idea which bucket you should access. That bucket information you have to provide. If you have to access one bucket, you should provide that bucket. Two buckets, that buckets. I mean, if it is two, you have to provide those bucket names here. Are you following, friends? This is how you have to make it. You have to filter the access. This is how we apply a condition in AWS. It's more like in programming or in SQL, applying a condition, right? So how do you do that? So I have three buckets and one of my bucket name is, I just showed you few minutes back as well. Okay. What different buckets are there? I'm just choosing this, copy this bucket. I just listed out and show you right in the very beginning. This is my bucket. I just put it here. And we are done with this. You don't need to do anything because I want to have access only to this bucket and then say add ARMS. I'm done with this one. Again, next one, objects. Which objects I want to access? First, if you want to provide object information, first we have to choose that bucket. In that, which objects, which files I should access. Again, I have a control of files here. Suppose I don't want to access all files, provide access to all files, I can do that control here. But for now, I don't have a problem. I just put asterisk. It means I am providing access to all files under this bucket, my reports bucket 2025. Are you following, friends? Okay, so that's what we are doing now. And then click add RMS. Okay, we are done with this. And then don't worry, this policy we can update it how many times we want. Suppose if it is not working as expected, again come back, change the policy, update it. Likewise, we can play around this inline policies or custom policies. Now this is clear, right? Are you following now, Harsha? Does this make sense?
Yes, yes.
Okay, this is very useful scenario. Maybe you might think that, right, we are just doing this, but I know the importance of this scenario. So try to get into this kind of requirements. Okay, that is going to help you a lot in development. Okay, so now I still we have to add something, but I will show you that. I will go step by step so that you get a little deeper idea of all this. What is that? All these kind of scenarios. So click on next now. I did whatever that is needed for now. Just provide a policy. Allow. Okay. What shall I say? Allow hyphen. That bucket name you choose. What is that bucket name? You can provide that specific bucket. Okay. Report bucket 2025 only. I name this policy as allow reports bucket 2025 only. This is the policy I'm creating. Okay. And you can see that where the access levels we choose here is list and read here. Okay. And then click on create policy. Okay. That's all. So I created a custom policy that is visible here. Can you see it here, friends? Are you seeing here? Now this is ready. What I can test whether what is that, whether this policy is working as expected or not. Are we restricting access only to report buckets or to every bucket? All that we have to see now. So I created all this and I did managed everything in the root account. Now what I do, I'll go to my user account and test this permission. Test this policy more than permission, the policy thing. Okay. Shall I do that now? Let's do one thing now. So now go to this and then now try to enter into your that user account and then password. Okay. And then finally sign in. So this is no user. I know that ID I know. So I just directly used it. For you, I have discussed how to enter into the user account and test all that. Okay. Now what is that I should do? Click on S3. Okay, that's fine. We don't need to worry about it. Okay, general purpose buckets. Click on that because whatever bucket we created is a general purpose bucket. Unfortunately, I am not seeing anything here. Then you ask a question, right? If you don't see anything, we are not seeing anything here, Manoram. But you have already applied a policy. What's happening, right? Just to show you that step by step, I just what is that? Skipped another important addition. So whatever permissions we added, definitely they are perfect. Right. For this, if you just click on this, you can see now how this inline JSON file is created. You can have a look at it. You can see this. This is how JSON file right? Customized policies are created. You can see that. So this is how somebody asked yesterday, what is that JSON, how that JSON policies look like. This is the JSON. And this is how JSON is created. You have an ID and you have an effect. Allow what? So these are the terminologies that is present in this. These are the keys present in JSON. What is the effect? Allow or deny. And what is the action you should perform on particular resource? You can see here, these are the actions. And what resources are this? I just control that resource. I am only allowing access to this particular report, not all the to this particular bucket, but not all the buckets in that account or in that S3 bucket. This itself shows a clear idea. When you look at this JSON gives you what is that? It is providing allow access that to what on this particular bucket, which resources means these buckets. And here the action that performs is you have to list bucket and then get that object. That's all. What is that bucket you have to list? What is that object you have to get? That you are mentioning here. That you specify here. You can see here. But this is not enough. What is that you have to do? You have to add one more policy. Sorry, you have to add something to this JSON. Just change the policy. You don't need to add one more policy, but just change the policy. What is that you should do now? Go to the actions and then go to the list. Okay. Here, just to make sure that, yeah, definitely permission wise, you did a good job. But if you want to see that buckets, you have to just apply this. What is that? List all my buckets here. That's all. Then when you choose this option, automatically you can view all that buckets that is there in that S3 bucket. Otherwise, what happens? We cannot have a view of those buckets. Okay, so that after that, anyhow, we are controlling the permission. It will just allow only access to whichever bucket you are choosing in this available buckets. Okay, so now choose this list all buckets so that you have a view of what buckets that are there in the S3. Is my statement clear? Okay, we have to choose this as well. Once you do that, what is that you have to do? You don't need to make any other changes. Just see here if anything should be selected. No, you don't need to make any other additional changes. So finally, next. And then you don't need to provide anything here. Just save changes. Okay, that policy is modified. Now what is that you have to do? Just click on it just to see the change in JSON, how this JSON is updated. Just to see that. You can see that there is a small block added in that JSON. Right, another key value pair is added in the JSON, which has an action to list all buckets so that we can have a view of it. Okay, and then we are controlling the access with this block. Is this clear for all of you? This is how we can create custom policies. Apart from available policies or permissions, you can also manage policies and permissions, creating your own policies and permissions. You got it right? So now what is the next part? Again, testing part. Come to this user account. Okay, I created two windows just to make our life easier. Right? So one is we are having opened the root account in one browser. I open another in another one. Or yesterday somebody, right, Harsha mentioned, right, you can also try check with incognito mode and see to play around this. Okay. Yeah, group. See, once we say that, so this custom access, right? Group level also you can create it. Point is simple, right? Now this whatever the discussion we are doing, this is applicable at all levels. So custom policies are something which can apply at user level, which can apply at group level, which can apply at all levels. You got it right, Venkatesh? Venkatesh has just asked me a question. So now what you have to do, we have to just refresh it and see if buckets are visible or invisible. Let's see that now. See, can you see the buckets now? Are we seeing buckets this time? So I am under, again, we are not in root here. You can see I am where I am under user, no user. And Nomi user has access to which bucket? Which bucket, friends? Only this one. Now I click on this. So I can see that bucket. If I want, I can download this. For testing purpose, I am doing this. I can download. I downloaded this. Is this clear now? Suppose now the testing part. Second, we are going for other testing again. Now I want to access this. Click on that. And you can see here. What is it saying? Insufficient permissions to list objects. So Harsha,
Yes, yes, cleared.
do you
Yeah,
get it now? Again, you
yes,
might ask a question. Manoram, I want to see only this one. I don't want to see remaining two. Then what should I do? Then I think what is that here? See, I did all this kind of validations and checks and everything. But what this guy is saying is, okay, if you see here, because with all that kind of thing I did, R&D I did, you should see here. Important notes. What is that? IAM cannot completely hide buckets from console list. Do you get this, Harsha?
yes,
They will
yes, yes,
appear if you allow list all buckets, but other buckets cannot be accessed. This is what we have to do. So, and another important thing, to fully hide them, you need SCPs, service control policies, or move buckets to separate AWS accounts. This part we need to do R&D, Harsha. But with your question, I did a bit of R&D yesterday just to make sure that how we can restrict access. Is that clear now? So for
yes.
now,
Thank you.
this is one solution. Maybe we will try if we have other. But I'm very sure with automations I can do. Definitely, you can do AWS cloud automation. With the cloud automation, you can only show whichever bucket you want to show. Okay, I'll also show you a couple of automations so that you can play around like. So this is another important point I am adding here, right? So this is the R&D we did, and this everything is there in the PPT. You get that, friends? So you don't need to again look for anything. All that each and every step that is needed, each and every thing what we need here, I just added to the document. So you just follow the steps that is going to help you. So understood now? So finally, we are in the testing process and the test have successfully gave us this thing here. What is that this thing? Right, this where are we right now under user? Suppose I try to access other bucket also. You can see here. So what's happening here? It is you can again you can see it's not allowing to access this another bucket except which bucket? Except this one, my reports one. Why? Because we did allow to access only this. The permission is set only to this bucket. This is how you can control the access to the buckets. Visibility, I think visibility part just to allow only to see a specific bucket. Maybe I'll try and check on that part as well. But for now, what is that? What is that it is saying here? Even you can see here, cannot completely hide buckets from console list. So whenever you say list allow buckets, this is visible, but I'll not stop there. I'll just go and explore more on this area as well. Still, to get to the point of the question, whatever the question is asked to bring out the output of that, I'll just check more on that as well. So, but this is one possible option, okay? So where you can do the restriction of this thing. Whatever we have discussed, this is a very beautiful scenario. Might be definitely this is people might ask these questions in interviews. And even as I am in the panel, I ask more questions like this only. Got it right? So that is the idea. Next, shall we go to the next topic now? What is our next topic today? Approach to creating groups, creating users, attaching users to groups, attaching policy to users, all that stuff we are going to do here. Okay. Shall we do that now?
Monoro, one question. Like
Okay.
list bucket, when we select list bucket only from the root user. So this Naomi user one, we are not able to see the buckets, right?
Nomi user one can see the buckets, but it don't have access to those buckets. See here, that's
Access
what,
to
right?
this buckets.
Yeah, let me just show you.
Hmm.
This is Nomi user one. This is
One,
where
correct.
in the root we just restricted
If we
the access
remove,
to the buckets.
yeah,
Okay.
when we remove this part, uh,
You You can see now.
Yeah.
Suppose I click. Just a quick question to you, Harish. We have provided permission to which bucket? Access permission only to.
Bucket 2025.
Yeah, you can see here. I am able to access that bucket. I am able to download the report also. You can see here. Is that okay? This test, we
Yes, yes.
tested that permission and that is successful. Now go back to the buckets again. Now you try to access the other bucket. What's happening here? Are we having permission to that?
No, no. Yeah, I
You
got.
can see here
So
insufficient permission to list objects. Got it?
yeah, this one I got it. So when we list bucket at the time, we given only the 2025 bucket. So that root user given permissions to this bucket,
Correct.
and this user is able to see only this bucket.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
That's what the idea, right? That's what the
Uh-huh.
question is also, right?
Yeah. So what is
Understood.
correct? Correct. So when list all my buckets means that whatever
See,
the
list all
buckets.
buckets will show you all the buckets, and again on top of that, again you have applied a condition, right? A filter. What is that filter? Show only which bucket?
Yeah, 2025.
Suppose if you want to only if you want to allow access for 2 or 3 buckets, you can just add that here. That bucket names.
Okay.
You got it right?
Yeah.
So which buckets you want to have access, that bucket's information you can specify here. So that all that is possible. You got it? You
Yeah.
can do one thing. You can play around this scenario. I have shown you how to filter to have access to a specific bucket. Suppose there are 10 buckets. Let us take the scenario. This is the scenario because these are all something really helpful for you in real time. Okay. Suppose there are 10 buckets. Okay. This is the scenario or a assignment. Okay. So you can take it as assignment and give it a try. Okay. Assignment. What is that assignment? You have 10 buckets, right? I want to have access only to 2 buckets. Bucket name you can say, okay, just for the time being, I say buck 1, buck 2, like that. You have 10 buckets, Harish.
Yeah.
Okay, now you should have access only to 2 buckets, but not to all 10 buckets, right? Should have access only to 2 buckets and restrict other buckets from accessing. Or 3 buckets, if not 2, 3 buckets. Okay, you can try this scenario. Same thing, follow the same strategy and see, do R&D, right? You have different sources, right, these days, and see how you can restrict that. Do you get it now? So now
Yes. Yeah.
I'll just put it a question here in the chat. Okay, you try this scenario. This is very helpful. No doubt about this one. Okay, got it?
Yes, but this part you added, right? That I allow another one in the JSON.
Okay.
Yeah, could you please go to the final? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
this one, right.
this one, because
Hmm.
we in the first part Visual Editor 0, so we are
That is just
allowing.
ID. This ID you can
Uh,
change it
uh,
to something else also. That is not a
yeah,
big issue. Okay. Okay.
yeah. So this part we are allowing access to get object and within the
See, this part is allowing access to
in
that
the
to a
bucket,
specific bucket.
specific bucket. Yeah.
See here, the resource talks about to which bucket we are allowing access, and then
Yeah, yeah, this one.
action speaks about to which list and which object.
Which
So to
object?
which list and which object we are allowing that. That is the action. And effect talks about what is that permission you are doing. Is it allow or deny? You got it right. You have 2
Yeah.
permissions by
This one.
default.
Yeah, this one I got it. So this list bucket means only that particular bucket and objects in that bucket. The first
Correct,
part will
correct.
see.
See, you can go from like this. So this particular block talks about, it shows you all, list all buckets. It's like saying select star from employee. You understand that?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
again in that employee, you just want to choose only a specific employee. Again, what do? You apply a filter, right? Second level filter, right?
Okay.
So then what do? So where employee name equal to something and employee salary equal to something. That is this. You got it right?
Yeah.
So means the first one talks about it shows list of all buckets. When you say this, it just lists out all the buckets. And second block talks about the restricting the access. What is that restriction? Access restriction. It will allow access only to this bucket, even though it shows all the buckets in the list. You got it right?
Oh, yeah, I got it. Yeah.
You understood? Or
Yeah.
or am I confusing you?
No, I got it. So it allows
See,
all the buckets, but it is giving the access to
this is
the
just saying like
particular.
list all my buckets. List in the
Oh,
sense it shows what are buckets are there in that S3.
S3. Yeah.
Okay, this is for listing out so that if I don't put this, maybe you should remember it is not showing the buckets list information. Do you remember that? I didn't put this for first time. When I didn't add this list all buckets, what happened? I am not able to see the list of buckets in that S3. That user is not able to see that, right?
Yeah.
If you don't see the
So,
buckets, how can you have access to that bucket? How do I know that which bucket is what? Is it possible? I have provided permission to this bucket, but when I go and look into that user, right, this particular user, what is happening is in these buckets, it is not seeing anything, showing anything.
yes, I got it. Yeah.
So if I want to see something, I have to list out that buckets, right?
Yes.
Without listing, I cannot click on that bucket. Without showing anything here, I cannot do any operation. Possible? So that's why what we are doing, that's why we are saying that list all buckets. If you add this particular action, so this helps us to see the buckets. And then this particular actions will allow us to have access to that specific bucket. Okay, you got it?
Yeah, got it. Got it. Yeah.
So that is the idea, Harish.
Yeah, got it.
So that's the idea. Let's get to the next scenario. Today, still any more questions on this? If you are good, I'll go to the next. Let me move to the next topic.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. Now, approach to. What is that approach to? So this now we are going to create groups and then attach user to the group and then attach policy and all that. We'll see. This is an interesting scenario. Inline already we have discussed now. Approach 3, creating inline policy and attaching. This we discussed. So this should now whatever the scenario we have discussed also covers this creating inline policies. Okay. So now let's see this now. Again, go to the root. What you have to do now. This is a very simple thing again. Only thing you should understand what is that? What is a group and why do we need group? And that discussion we had in detail in yesterday's session, right? So why we are creating groups? Go to user groups here. So once you get into the root account, right, go to IAM. When you go to IAM, you can see all this user groups, users, roles, policies, all this stuff. Click on user groups. And I created 2 and more are there, but once you terminate instances, they might keep deleting. That's okay, fine. Now, what is that you have to let's start it as a fresh. Right. Already we have users in this thing. If you want, you can create a new user and test it. Or else what is that you do? You can create a group. That is a very simple and straightforward process. Come here, provide a group here, something you say QA group. Okay. Or else I can create a learning group for our AWS this thing. And then I can attach all the users, like, suppose all of you are in the class, right? I can attach you to the AWS, this thing. Suppose I say that AWS training group, okay? Likewise, I can create Python training. Likewise, I can create, okay, Spark training or engineering training, all that. Or DevOps training. So this is a group I'm trying to create. And then what is that go down? If you want, you can attach policies. That's okay, fine. To the group itself instead of attaching to the user. Now, let's create group. Let's go step by step. I am not adding either users. I am not adding either policies. What I am doing right now, I am just only creating a group now. Just go and create group. That's all create. So now you can see this AWS training is created. Okay. Now after this, I didn't attach any permissions to this group. Then what I do, once this is created, then expand this. Now you can see here when once this group is created, right? When I click on that, so you can see here it's saying add users. Now if any users are there already created, you can attach those users to this group. Suppose let's go it as a fresh one. Okay, now I want to create a new user. That new user is something like Harish. Okay, so name of the user is Harish, and then provide all this to Harish. Of course, generally Harish should have his own access. Okay, and then because I just create it for Harish. Suppose let us make it as a real time project. Okay, I am creating users for all of you. Right, what I do, I am creating AWS training account and then I am attaching all of you to that as AWS training account and I provide access to certain materials which I put it in the S3 bucket. Does it make sense? What I do from tomorrow onwards, I'm just only, this is a hypothetical scenario. All that materials I'm sharing in the WhatsApp group, okay? I put it in the S3 bucket. From now onwards, what do I do? You have to get those all that materials, all that whatever that is I'm sharing from the S3 bucket. If I should do that, this is a real scenario, friends. If I should do that, what is that I should do, friends? I have to provide, create users and then give you that user, this thing to you so that you can have that credentials and then you can log in and then have access to that particular training group and you can access to that bucket there. Are you following, friends? Does it, is that a real scenario or not? Does it look like a real scenario? Same thing happens in real time. Instead of learners, you have employees. Instead of AWS training group, you have dev group or QA group or admin group, something like that. What I am doing is I am just creating a scenario for my training requirements. I am using AWS. What is that? My group is this. For this group, I am creating all my learners as users. Some user one is Harish and user two is Harsha, user three is Revati. Okay. See, I'm going with the real scenario, friends. User three, Revati. Maybe correct, please correct me your names if I'm going wrong anywhere. Okay. Da da da. Okay. Just go like this. Now what I do, requirement is in my S3 bucket from tomorrow onwards. This is a hypothetical scenario because if I put all my all my documents or materials in S3, what is going to happen? It is going to give me billing, lot of billing. Okay, so I cannot do that. But hypothetically, I'm just saying that. Okay. Otherwise, we put one or two things in that S3 bucket. Okay. We'll try to upload one or two this thing, simple materials. In this buckets, put all okay materials, content. Otherwise, put all training content. Okay, I'm just giving you a scenario. Training content in S3 bucket. Okay. Now, who should access this? This is this in a real scenario. Now I provide this access, AWS training access only to my learners, whoever joining AWS training, not Python training. I have multiple groups. I have a group of Python training. I have a group of DevOps training. This is how I can create groups. DevOps training, I have a group like, data engineering training, data training otherwise. Okay, likewise, I have created multiple groups, friends, right? But for this particular group, who should have access? Only that AWS learners who are attending this training should have access to this bucket, S3 bucket. Okay, only to S3 bucket. Of course, when you have access to S3, you can see all that in details in that S3. But I should restrict that details only to which one? Only for AWS training related materials. Got it right. So this is the scenario. Now what do? We just do one thing just for testing purpose. I'll create one. So this is the user. I am creating user Harish. Okay, is that fine, right, Harish? Now I'll do one thing. Next. And then, so for now, I am not attaching any policies. If you want, we can attach it later. Okay, because Attaching policies will do it to the AWS training itself, okay, to the group itself. Now what I can do, I can just go to the, just a minute, go to previous. I just want to see. Yeah, this is perfect. You got it right. So provide username and provide this thing and just make sure, because I have to just share this with Harish once this is created. So I put it as auto generated password. Later he can just change that username and password. So that's how real time works. Now finally just create it. When you say you don't attach any policies or anything, because we attach that to the groups and then we can attach that user to the group, so that automatically user have access to the to any resource through group. Okay. Now click next and then finally create user. I created Harish now. Do you want these details, Harish? So what is that? These are the details. Now I did downloaded it. Okay. So what I have to do now? Of course, we don't have much, Harish. I just only put namesake. Okay. I'll remove all this. Don't worry about it. Okay. So now I just have this now. Go to the, what shall I do now? Let's go back. Now go to the group. Now click on this. So first thing what I want to do is, to this particular group, I have to manage permissions. What permissions I should provide here? You can see here. So before I add users, of course, you can do anyway. That's fine. Go to the permissions, right? And then under add permissions, attach policies. Whatever policies you want to attach, you attach it. Suppose I see S3, generally, I play around S3 now. I'm just only focusing on that area, but we'll see more later. Now, what is that you want? Do you want full access or read-only access? As this is our playground, we can provide whatever permission we want. But in real time, they generally see, mostly they try to provide read-only. If you are just a kind of QA user or some other kind of non-development users. If it is a dev user, they try to provide you all this access, but generally they restrict you from deletions. That's what generally development teams do. Okay, for DevOps engineers do for development teams. Deletion generally is a dangerous thing, so they don't allow that in real time. They control that by creating custom policies, or if anything is there here, they try to control from here itself. You got it right. So which policy should I choose here? For at here in our playground, anything is okay. Okay, just put this. Okay, full access. And then attach policy. I am attaching to policy to the group here, not to the user. What is the difference between attaching policy to the group and attaching policy to the user? Which is the best approach? This is a question. Always attaching policy to the group is a best approach, because every time if a user comes, you cannot keep creating user attaching policies and all that. That will be a very tedious task, right? Now we have this here. Now you can see here for this particular group, it has access to the full access to this S3 packet. Full access means you can read, write, delete, or you can do anything there. Now, but this group doesn't have any users. Now what I am doing, simply, I am trying to, and you can also choose this. That's fine now. After that, go to the, and now this is okay, fine. Even if you don't select, once you create it, assign this will be automatically added to this group. That's fine. Now go to the users, add user, and then I'm adding Harish to this AWS training. This makes more sense, right? Similarly, I can create one more user, Harsha, and then what I can do, this time I don't need to add permissions to this. Already permission is added to this group. So I can just create user, attach that user to this training group. Suppose I do one thing just for, again, learning purpose. I create one more user. That username is Harsha. Okay, I'll remove all this because just only to show you. Otherwise, this AWS people are going to give, bill me left and right. Okay, so now you can see here, I just created another user, Harsha, and then just see here. This is okay. No, you don't need to do anything. Just if you want, you can see here, go to the previous this thing. You can add that user to this group here itself. And then click next. You don't need to again create and add. While creating the user itself, you can choose to which group we should add that user. And finally create user. Yeah, that's perfect. Right? So now Return to the list again. Continue. Now you can see I have Harsha here. Click on Harsha. This is Harsha's information, and Harsha is attached with two policies. One is this one, Amazon S3 full access, coming through the group. It is coming from the group, this one, AWS training. Okay, similarly, another user, which is Harish, right? Harish also have two policies attached to him. Similarly, you can add whichever policies you want that is needed to that user. And generally we do that, we create groups and attach those policies to the groups so that permissions or policies are derived from groups to users. That's always a healthy approach. What is the healthy approach? Always deriving permissions or deriving policies from groups to users. Is this clear for all of you friends? So this is the idea. Understood now? So now the question is again, we can do one thing. I will log in as Harsha now and test my permissions. Is that okay? The last step is that. Okay, what is that we did now? We did create user, we did create group, we did attach policy, right? We did attach user. We followed all these steps, right? And finally test the policy. What is that you should do? Test the policy. So what I am doing now, I am using one of the user just now I created. Where is that? Okay, so I can download my credentials. Let me see if I can download it from here. Generally, you have to download, if you download that CSV, okay, security credentials, you can see here. Where is that? I think I downloaded. Okay, no problem. Never mind. Okay, I'll do one thing. Go to the user groups just for testing purpose. Already, I have this. Again, I don't want to. Same thing you can try from your side. Okay, just only to show you how to create groupers, users, and attach to group. I did that. No problem. So now you can choose users and you can choose gnome user one. Okay, this is custom policy. Okay, now I want to attach something from the groups. Choose groups. So there are no groups attached to gnome user one. What I am going to do now? I am going to this groups. I am going to see this. Okay, and then add user. What I am going to do? I choose gnome user here. Okay, because I do have all that ready for me for testing. So I did add gnome user. Gnome user has full access to S3 packets. Okay, fine. Now what is that? So this is perfect. Now when I click on gnome user, you can see here, right? So I think for some reason it got signed out. That's fine. Not a big issue. I'll do one thing. I'll log in back again. I don't know if this is a valid password or not. Let me sign in. And then let me, what is that I should do? Enter the MFA code here. 669799. Sign. So, sorry, password issue. Let me just change the password. Okay, I'm logging to the root here. You can see that, and then enter the MFA code. Okay, sign in. Not now. We don't need to update it. Yeah, but you can see here. This is the gnome user. These are the groups attached to gnome user, and then you can check all these things. Okay, later. That's not a problem. Now, what do you do? Go to that account. Okay, already we are in gnome user. Refresh this. Right. You know how to log into the user, right? Should I show you that again, or shall I continue with this from here? What shall I do, friends? Shall I show you again how to log in to use it back, or can we continue? If it is a new user, it will ask to change permissions. That's what you have to. Sorry, to change password. Right. In your next login, change that password and then create a new password so that you can use it every time. I have explained all that yesterday. You can try that. So now these are all the reports where this particular user, I think now you can see that as I provided full access. There are two access, right? Earlier, what is that? Now you can see that I attached a full access. I am able, no me user is able to see everything. Just to get a clear idea, earlier we restrict the access only to this bucket, right? By creating a custom policy. As we provided full access from group, now you are able to see other buckets. I mean, we are able to access other buckets as well. You can see here, right? So that is the difference. Then you can ask a question, what is that? So what is the point of having the other permission, like, go to the user, right? And check on this home user, okay? Then this policy, whatever we have here, allow reports bucket is being overridden by this policy. So do you think this is no more needed? Can I get an yes or no from you? Do you think this is no more, even though we have this policy, this is not having any impact? Does it have any impact now? Yes or no, friends? Okay, you can answer in the chat box. No. Yeah, that's fine. See, you can do that. I just only show you how to attach users, all that stuff. Okay. So that CSV again, I have to search and I don't want to waste time on that. So that's why I'm just proceeding with whatever that is already readily available for us. These are all I have opened. Okay. So that's why Revati. Okay. Will that be okay? So this doesn't have any impact, right? What is then what should I should do? Either I can remove it because it's of no use for me. I can remove this permission. Okay, but let us keep it there just for reference purpose. Okay, I'm not doing that again because we put in a lot of effort to do all this stuff. But I'm just only showing you, giving you an idea, right? When you have a high priority policies, right? Higher level policies, automatically lower level policies will become obsolete or it doesn't have much impact. That is the information. That is the FYI for your information. You get it now, friends? Finally, that is the idea. Let's go to the. So this is all about testing. I think we did test it, right? Just to do testing a little bit more into deep testing. What is that I'm going to do? To test a bit deeper, as this is full permission, right? What kind of permission we provide to the users here? It is for no user, we have S3 full access, which is derived from this group. Okay. So now if it is full access, I can do anything. What is that? Suppose this bucket is there and this bucket I don't need no more because it doesn't have anything in this. Then what do? I delete that bucket. Okay. I'm doing a deletion here. So just what you have to do is you have to confirm delete and then what is that? Deleting bucket cannot be undone. Yeah, that should be okay. I think I am. Let me do it again. Select this, refresh it. Okay, select this and let's say delete. It should delete this actually. To confirm deletion, enter the name of the bucket in the. Okay, I got that. For deletion, it is asking which bucket we should. So go to this here now and then select this and then delete. Add the bucket name inside that. Okay, and then you can say simply what? Delete bucket. Now that bucket is simply deleted because this particular user has full permission. Also, if you want to see if this bucket is this user, if this user can create a new bucket. Yeah, definitely you can see here. Okay, my know me user bucket 2. Okay, I just created another bucket. You can see you don't need to just use the same details as is. Okay, except this one if you want. That versioning, if you want, you can keep it for future purpose. Okay, now create bucket. So invalid characters, where is that? Yes, it doesn't allow underscore. It has to be hyphen. That should be easy for you. Now I created this bucket. Okay. So once that is created, this is the bucket. Okay. And then I'm trying to add some files. Okay. Upload, add files. Don't try to put too much information. I think I downloaded here. Harish credentials is here. That should be okay. You can try it yourself, right, Harish? Okay. So now what do you do?
Yes.
So yeah, if you want, I can log in because I downloaded for the testing purpose. We can try it again after this. So suppose I want to keep some file there just for this thing. Okay. What is that? I put this material inside S3, put that PDF. But keeping more data inside all this is going to cause billing to you. Just keep that is the caution we should have always. Okay. So that's fine. Upload. Likewise, I can add all my what I can do, all my materials, all everything into that S3, and I provide access to restricted access to all users. This makes our life much easier. Okay, that is done now. And then upload status is successful. Okay, close this. Now go to that bucket. You can see here we have a PDF uploaded. Okay. Oh, sorry, friends. So Nomi bucket 2 has this PDF. Suppose if you want to download it, you can download from here. Next time I don't need to search for anything. My AWS has everything inside that. Now suppose Harish want to access this. Who want to access this? Harish want to access this. So what I do, go to the downloads, click on this Harish credentials. Okay. So what I do right now, take this. Is this Harish or? Yeah, Harish only, right? I think for all the guys, let me see if it is. Okay, copy this and come here. Okay, sign out Manohar. And then, yeah, log into this. So sign out Nomi, not Manohar there. Okay. So what is that 7008, right? 7008 122 131 13643. If it is same for everyone, 122. So this ID is same, you can see here from there. Only Harish, username is Harish. I don't need to change this, just only change Harish and then password for first time you use this, okay? And later on it will ask you immediately to change this, okay? Because this is new created user, right? Harish is a new user, so I just pass this here. And this is for now you can see this password because anyhow it will immediately force us to change that permissions now for a new user. Okay, sign in. I mean change password, not permission. I think I misspelled it. Okay, your old password, you know what is that old password? New password. But now I am putting it as a simple one. Okay. Anyhow, I'll remove all this after this probably. Okay. And then again, and then confirm password change. Okay. Now I created into whose account now? Harish account. Okay. So now what I do, I have to go and check for this thing. Which services I should check? I should check for S3. You can see here, click on S3. And it's still loading. You can see you have all this now. Now click on this particular one. Okay, now you can see Harish can see this. And then if Harish wants to download this particular file, you can choose that because Harish has access to that. Which group, Harish? Which group do you have access, Harish? AWS training,
AWS training.
right? So you can you can download whatever that is there for that particular training group. You can get all that materials. So So this we are able to even test Harish also, new created user. Similarly, everyone can test it yourself, friends. Understood now? You can create something and do all this stuff. Clear? Clear? So that's about approach two. Are we successful now? Is IAM interesting or is it boring? How is this IAM? And is it difficult or is it easy? Everything is easy, friends. Okay, because everything is window navigation. You are not putting too much of this thing into this AWS learning. Okay, so that's all right. So now we'll move to the next scenario. What is that? Anyone has questions on this till this, or anyone needs any help so far? Okay, and creating custom policy we have discussed. Are you comfortable with this? How to create your own policy? We just tried today, right? That's also a learning you had. Revati, yeah, you can speak out, Revati. You don't need to raise hand. Yeah, please.
Yeah, um, yeah, I got it. It's clear, but I just wanted to confirm the things like under the Harish user
Mm-hmm.
and the file that Elastic file that which we have uploaded under the
Mhm.
AWS training group.
Correct.
That we did it as a root user. Am I right?
Correct. Yeah, we did enter root user.
Since we given a full S3 full access,
Correct.
so
No,
as a
yeah,
one
Harish.
of a Haris as one of the user, he could able to access the file that which we uploaded from
Correct.
that group.
Correct.
But he couldn't see that group information, isn't it?
Where
Couldn't see. I mean the AWS training group. He could able to see all the files, but he can't see the group information. That's how
Like
it
okay.
works, is it?
AWS
You
training
okay,
group.
okay. We are right now and is not under groups, right? Revati. We are here looking into buckets here. We are in S3. Under S3, you cannot look by I mean groups, right? So you have to go to IAM. Okay. If you want to look for groups or anything, you have to go look for which service? IAM service. Okay. Let's see here. I understand your question. And then users or user groups. I think mm, I don't think you can see that here, Revati. From that user, I doubt if you can verify that details because generally that is possible only through root user. Maybe I'll check if we have any such kind of facility, but I doubt. You can see here, right? We came to the Harish this thing I am, and I am searching for his groups. And for
Yeah,
that, if
yeah,
yeah, see, the very important thing is if you want to view groups, even you have to have permission for that. So what is that you have to do? You have to attach a policy to view groups. You got it now?
yeah. Got it. Yeah.
So simple thing, see to check groups, see if you have any policy that shows groups here. So do one thing. So not to the user, go to the groups. I mean user groups. We should have provide permission to view that group. That's all to that particular user. That is the policy we can attach. So come here and then permissions and then attach policy and then see. Okay, so that anything related to group, let me check. Or you have to provide administrator access. That's all. So resource groups, no problem. We'll do one thing. Let me use AI combination of AI plus this thing. Okay, I just ask how to provide permission to a group, permission to view a group to a user in his or her account. You can see here, Revati. What is it saying? Groups are collection of users. So that's why by default users cannot see I am groups of their members or their members. Only who can see that, Revati?
Yeah, administrator only can see. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. So, or else what you can do is, you can see here. We can go for custom policies. What policies, sir? Custom
Custom
policies.
policy.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. So as I
Okay.
have already discussed that, what you can do, you can test this and see if you have access to that. If you can create something to only see that group's information. Okay. I have
Yeah, got
already,
it. Yeah.
I taught you,
Yeah.
right, how to go for creating custom policies, how to work on viewing some particular buckets. We have seen that scenario. Apply same scenario for which one? Groups.
For the groups as well. Yeah.
Okay. If
Over
you
there
have
we
any,
use the get objects, and
yeah.
over here we are using get groups. That's the
That's
only
all right.
difference.
You can see here, right? So everything is there. These days, learning is not a big deal. Okay. So it is just showing what is that list group. So maybe you can do one thing. So for just for quick this thing, okay, you can do one thing. Go to the this one, AWS training, and then permissions, and then what you have to do, create inline policy, and then visual, right? You can see it, select a service, choose service. And this is for what? This is for not S3. Okay, earlier we choose S3 service. Now for groups, do you have anything specific? You have to see that. Just type here GROU. Okay, resource groups. So let's try this if it works for us. And then list. Okay, you can see here list group resources, list groups. You got it right. Okay. And then what else you can do? So you can create an inline policy to have that access, Revati. Okay. And then what else we can do here? So you can see one is list groups, get group. One more is what? You can come here, read, and then you can say get group. Okay. And then I'm providing this access to this whole AWS group itself, training group. Or you can choose same thing for Harish itself. You got it right. Instead of AWS group, you can provide this particular access only to Harish. You can restrict that. Is that clear? Okay. And then,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. And finally, this should be okay. We can do one thing now. Finally, you can move to the next steps. I think resources wise, you don't need to add anything here this time. Go to next. And then policy name. So you can just name it as view. Okay. AWS training group. Don't use underscore. It won't work actually. Not AWS, view. Okay. So GROUPS. You can just provide view groups only or something like this. Okay. So I just created a policy and then I just do something like this and then attach that to this. Which one? Already if it is attached, it's fine. That we have two policies. One is full access, another one is view groups. Right? Come here. So as I attached that permission to this guy, I mean AWS training, not to Harish. Let's refresh it. Still, it's not. Yeah, we have to do R&D there. You don't need to worry much about it. We can get it. Again, if you ask a question, because with all experience, I'm saying you in tech world there is nothing impossible. Understood? So
Yeah. Yeah. Got it.
yeah, I'm just only showing you how to do that. Now again, edit this. Now you can go and check like why that is not visible, and maybe you need to make some changes. You can do all that R&D right by taking the combination of AWS plus AI. Suppose if it is me, what I do is again, I don't stop there. Again, I will talk to AI. See, this is what I have created, but still groups are not visible for Harish. I'll just show you how to play around this one also. See here. Okay. I just say I created this, but still Harish
I
is
believe
not.
we haven't attached the user. I mean, we
Not user.
haven't mentioned that
No,
user, that particular user has this
no.
permission. Somehow I'm just,
Don't
we are
get
missing
confused.
somewhere.
I have attached permission to the group. You got it right. If I attach it, that you can see here permission. Is that permission visible under this group or not? AWS
Yeah,
training.
yeah, got it.
Then go to the users. Who are all under this group? Harish and
Yeah,
Harsha and Nomi.
Harish has right.
Automatically,
Yeah,
Harish have access to that policy.
yeah, that's right.
Is that clear now? If group have access, if group is attached with that policy, then the users in that group also will have by default derives that policies or permissions. Is that clear?
Yeah, got it.
So now just if it is not working, I created this, but Harish is not able to view groups. This is prompting, okay, in his own account. In his account, just make it simple, okay? Just try. You are also trying to understand, play around this, okay? This is a very common confusion you can see here, right? So what you actually want is IAM users group. So allow list groups, get group, okay. So what is it saying now? Go to IAM users group for you need to resource groups. You can see visual steps are here, okay. Now you have to go to that user and then Harish permissions tab, add permissions, create in like, okay, if it is only Harish, it's fine. Use Harish list groups, get group. We think where is this thing? Open this once. Maybe if you want, you can remove and
Actually,
again
like
recreate it
actually,
as
like
well.
we selected the resource groups option instead of IAM. So that's what ChatGPT is saying.
Yeah, we'll do that. Let's modify and see that. No, let's do one thing then. Go to the group once. Permissions and then remove this one. Let's create again. To delete this, we have to provide that groups information. View hyphen grvups only. View hyphen groups hyphen.
One is underscore is there.
Okay. Again, it's fine. I can do the easiest ways. Copy this. Come here. Remove it. Add it here. Delete it. That's easy, right? Now again go to this one. So if you are attaching to the group, let us see that. See, this is all again. We are doing an R&D here. Go to this. Select a service. Service should be IAM as per this thing, as per ChatGPT. And then action allowed. List. What is that you should list now? List groups, right?
List group.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can see that there. Then what is that you have to do?
get group.
Read. What is that? You can
Get
see
group.
get group. Yeah, this one. And finally, any changes need? I don't think any changes need. Okay. If you want Harish to see IAM user groups, right? Okay, that's fine. So finally, this should be enough for us. And policy name, you can give it as a view IAM groups. Okay, this is the policy name we have provided. This is all learning for us, okay? Finally, what you have to do? Create policy. And we have this here now for this. Now you can go and refresh for Harish now. So this is the Harish account. Refresh Harish. Harish is something here now. Perfect. Got it now? Revati, I'm in
Yeah,
Harish
I got
account.
it.
I'm in
Yeah,
Harish
yeah, got
account.
it.
So this is how what you can do. This is how what you can do. You can create your inline policies to make sure that whatever you want to have access, that specific access, if that is not there directly from the built-in policies or permissions, what you can do, Revati? You can do it from
Add inline policy. I
inline
can
or
choose.
custom policies. It's not,
Okay.
you can also create not only from inline, I think you can create custom policies from different place as well. You got it right?
Yeah, yeah, got it. Yeah.
Right. You can test on that particular area as well. So I hope this is a very useful working session for all of you. Generally, right? People, we don't do this kind of R&D. So we just only try to understand step by step how to create user, all that. But here we are going into a different direction because I know with all this experience we have from different streams, okay, not just only DevOps or this cloud or anything. I'm into, as I said, I don't want to talk too much, but all this is useful. Only that you can trust me. Next, finally, what is that? With all this, we learned many things. Definitely, there is a huge coverage. Now, if you go and check in YouTube or any resource information, you understand the kind of information you got in this 2.5 sessions. It is just because we didn't even complete 3 sessions completely, 3 weekends. 2.5 weekends, we covered many things. That too, this helps you too much in the working environment, not just learning. Okay, because that's kind of questions we had, and that's the kind of R&D we had. Understood now. Next, what is the next thing? Once this is done, we all did this. Till this, all of you are fine, friends. Are you good this? Till this? Okay. And Venkatesh, thanks for that quick this thing. Okay, I was looking for that group thing only. So yeah, that was very helpful for me. So this is done, right? These things are done. Attach via group, attach policies via group is done. Attach inline policies. Is this completed, friends? Yes or no? Can I get an S from all of you? Right. Then these are the steps how to do that. Okay. So specifying user details. You can just use this for test. I mean, for learning purpose, just navigate. Then what else? Uploading files to S3 buckets and then okay, and all the stuff. Okay, that's fine. Creating buckets, now you are master of creating buckets now, master of deleting buckets, master of testing buckets, S3, all that, right? And then now this is another important scenario. Of course, this may take a while. Do you want to do it in next week or should we continue now? Creating. This is another important scenario in AWS again. What is that? AWS CLI setup and test. What is that? Now you are accessing all this from inside this, right? This groups. I mean, yeah, not just groups, this buckets or anything. You can see here. Suppose if you take S3, even you can get access to that with CLI. You can check many details from CLI command. I mean, that is CLI instance command line interface, simply speaking. Okay. Suppose this is bucket. I want to view all the details S3 outside the AWS account, not inside AWS, outside AWS. Suppose you see this is my command prompt, which is completely in my machine, not in AWS or not in cloud. But still, you can see I'm able to get that details here. You can see somewhere I tried something AWS S3. This is AWS S3 is default command. Anyway, this doesn't change. Only change is what is the change we have and stuff. We are just doing playing around with our own data. If it is real time, only that bucket naming standards and that groups names changes. That's other than that approach doesn't change anywhere. That's for sure. So now this is you can see here. These are the commands. Suppose I want to see what all buckets are there inside my S3 bucket. I mean S3 service. then I can apply list command. ls says list. These are all almost near to Linux commands. Okay. ls says list all the sources. Okay. And similarly, if you want to see what is there inside bucket, this is how we can access details from bucket. For now, we just put one or two resources, but you can add more objects into that bucket. Object in sense files or anything like that. Similarly, you can play around. Suppose I want to download something from bucket directly into my machine from cloud, I can apply this. But if I should do all this, first I have to configure this to which one? First, I should have this CLI, this thing installation. That is one thing. Second thing, I have to configure CLI to my local machine, and then I can start playing around with the commands like this. Right? So this is all about that. So what shall we do right now? Shall we do it now, or shall we take it up next week as a fresh item? So how is it your bandwidth?